Welcome to video number 4. This is remembrance-kjv.com. When first I came across the information related to Thomas Fuller, my first assumption was that his computations were based upon some kind of mathematical formulae. This assumption made me tiresome, and the investigations along those lines proved vain. Later, I changed the course of my investigations towards trying to predict the nature of the human memory and how it can be capitalized in carrying out mathematical computations. My hypothesis was, if a person reads a number from anywhere, that number is first relayed and coded into the brain cells, and on calling it back, its digits are reproduced in the form or order in which they are coded in the brain. The structure of the memory entities upon which the digits are coded can therefore be studied. So I set myself to study how people call digits of a number and how they respond to numbers. Let us take a situation in which someone calls the digits of a number while the other is required to write them down. And the caller calls them in this way: 7, 49, 43, 6, 26, 8, 9, 7, 3. By the time he or she gets to the end of calling the digits, the recipient will feel annoyed. Obviously, there is need to group the numbers into some kind of order. My question is, why is it that the recipient feels annoyed by the way in which these ungrouped digits are called? This is the question that probed me further into investigating the psychology behind the brain and numbers. My suggestion was that the brain generates temporal memory spaces that it provides to hold numerical data. These temporal memory spaces can be thought of to be similar to variables in computer programming. And if the order in which these variables are generated does not match the order in which the digits are called, then the recipient of those digits feels annoyed by the way in which the caller of digits calls them. The grouping of digits by the caller might either be underutilizing the generated memory holders or might be overflooding them. So, in what sort of order are these assumed variables produced? I set forth to investigate further. In one of my investigations, I looked into how people call their contact details. Contact details are usually 10-digit numbers. In most cases, they are called in groups of 4, 3, 3. Let us listen to how contact details are heard from a public media outlet.
0731 168 045, route 1 straight into the studio. That number again, 0731 168 045.
That's it. 0731 168 045. This is a common way used by most people, but I have observed that it is not universal. The owner of the contact, 0752 608 043, does not call her contact in this format, but in the format 07 52 60 80 43. Note that all the other digits are fixtures except 60 80. She finds it convenient to place 60 80 in a single group. It came to my mind that those that use the popular 433 order are conditioned by public media to do so. Else, each person would have an order particular to the nature of his or her conduct. But for the sake of my investigations, I needed results from unconditioned responses. In another investigation, I tried to confirm my number grouping during the COVID-19 pandemic era when I visited one of the local hospitals. Then, most payments were done electronically, for people were discouraged from using hard cash. The hospital clerk would not accept to touch people's cell phones. He required that each of those who paid up for their medical expenses call out transaction IDs to him as he wrote down the receipts for them. Each person had his or her own way of saying out transaction IDs. I knew that secretly the clerk was annoyed by most of us. However, he had to bear with us. When my turn arrived, I said to myself, let me try and confirm my order of digits code. This is how I called my transaction ID. MP21 0905 0658 K6 6713. Do you know what he said? He said, behold, this is what we call a learned person. He didn't know that I had planned it before and was actually experimenting with his brains. By so saying, he made me feel approved of my order of digits code. On a third investigation, I sought to understand how digits are grouped on recharge tokens. It was long since I directly used the recharge tokens, so I thought to take a look at some of them. Most of them have digits grouped in groups of 4s, like in the case of this electric recharge token. Notice how the recharge token is written. Let us try and enlarge the digits. To easily recall the number, the digits of each group are paired and not pronounced independently. They should be remembered as 3910, 0147, 5215, 2802, 4173. This is a 20-digit number, but if one memorizes it in this format, it becomes bearable and won't seem that big. I found out that similar form of grouping exists for airtime recharge tokens of one of the local companies. It sells 16-digit tokens with digits in groups of 4. I discovered that I could memorize the digits at once, then recharge at once without having to continuously cross-check with the token. This grouping agrees with my assumption that the brain memory holders accommodate groups of 4 digits, with each group having paired digits. But what of the situation like this one, where the number of digits is not a multiple of 4? With this local company, the first group of numbers has 5 digits. I found it uncomfortable to call a group of 5 digits. There has to be a format that comfortably caters for any number of digits. As for a 3-digit number, let us listen to the voice of a broadcasting station.
The voice, they will get it to 316. We're supposed to restrict them, between 250 and 300, and that's what even Sean Williams said, that between 290 and 300, but, the innings gave them a chance, to get to 316.
That's right. I think you got him right. 316, 250, 290, 316. The first digit in a 3-digit number is called as if it's a unit. Then the last 2 are called as a pair. What of a 4-digit number? Let us again pay attention to public media.
Shabarangsa 1992, I think Form 1, 1992.
That's right, 1992. Why 1992 and not 1992.
Africa's #1 marathon on the 2nd of July 2023 in the resort town of Victoria Falls.
Again, why 2023 and not 2023? Note that these research findings are not presented in the chronology in which they were carried out. Neither are the cited examples the original ones upon which the investigations were first carried out. What I have presented is only to confirm the results of a study I carried out for several months in 2016 at various locations. These are the overall findings I made. For a single digit number, no problem. It is called as usual. If it is 4, it's just 4. For a double digit number, 5 and 6, it is called 56 rather than 56. For a 4-digit number of say 2030, it is called 2030. For a 3-digit number 8, 3 and 4, it is called 834 rather than 834. So this is 7254 and this is 247. But what if I place an oblique line? It's now 24/7. The oblique line is intended to guard against the brain's natural tendency to call the number 247. It is serving as an anti-nature. So the existence of the oblique line in written communication serves as evidence that the brain would otherwise interpret the number according to how it would otherwise be coded in its memory holders. I did not find a convincing format for numbers with the digits greater than 4 except when the number of digits is a multiple of 4. In that case, digits are grouped into 4s. So this is how the numbers would appear in memory holders: 1964, 2030, 566, 837. I also found additional information on evidence of the existence of grouped brain variables or memory holders in the use of Shona language. In common verbal communication, the Shona people rarely pronounce a person's complete name. A name like Rosalind is just called Rosie. Colin is just called Corey. Valentine is just called Vale. It is left to the listener to complete the name, since the subject of the discussion will also be known to the listener. These names are reduced to 2-syllable words that can fill in a pair of variables. Some Shona words are thought to be complete words when in actual fact they are not. The reason why they are thought to be complete words is because they fit in well into these variables. An example is the word kure. It is believed to be a complete word when in actual fact it isn't. Its real form can be got from one of the Proto-Shona languages used in the areas around Mutogo. The actual form is kurefu. That can directly be translated to the English equivalent, to a distance. But since kure fits in a complete pair of memory holders, it sounds as if it's a complete word. And very few of those who use standard Shona can realize its complete form. This might be the same reason why most of the syllables of the Shona language end with vowels, to give the form of completeness that marries them with the generated variables. This observation gives us greater confidence of a common origin between the Shona language and the psychological principles that do govern the teaching and learning of mental arithmetics. So, let's do a roundup of the investigations. The brain provides paired memory spaces or memory compartments to contain digits before relaying numeric information to output organs. The brain is comfortable to record digits of a number in only tens and units. The call of a 4-digit number is also heard as if it is a complete group. The annoyance experienced by a listener of a number call is likely to be a result of his brain providing an arithmetic memory space that the caller, in the order of his or her digit call, does not utilize. A number should be called in pairs of its digits, from most significant to least, and when the digits are odd, the third last digit is called as if it's a unit. So, from these deductions, I had to come up with a model of the human arithmetic memory that could be used to explain how digits are accrued, computed, and then released. The model has to cater for the accrual of numbers of any digit size. Details concerning this model of the human arithmetic memory are treated in video number 5. Choose to subscribe to this channel and be a participant in this transformation in the way in which mathematics is supposed to be taught. Thank you, and meet you in video number 5.